What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Driving with Randy. I believe this is episode 62. 62! What's shaking, everybody? How are you guys doing on this fantastic day? Whatever day you're listening to it, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or you came to me on a Sunday when you should be in church, right? Maybe this is the church of Road Rage Randy. That would be stealing of the church What's Happening Now by Joey Diaz, which is a very great podcast. But you get the idea. Welcome. Happy whatever day it is for you. I'm just... Well, there goes my water. You guys remember on one of my first episodes, I dumped my water in the passenger seat? I'm just going to go ahead and say that today has been kind of shitty. I just haven't had a good day. Why? We're going to go on a little rant here. Well, before I go on a little rant here, I would like to say this is Driving with Randy podcast. I'm your host, Road Rage Randy. Welcome. This is a podcast I do while I drive my 2007 Toyota Sienna, which is going to be a topic of today. But the main topic is going to be, well, you can probably tell by the title, I have finished reading the book Permanent Record by Edward Snowden. So I'm going to try and summarize that the best I can. I'm a man of very few words. I don't have a lot to say as far as summarizing things. So I'm going to do my best to let you guys know how I feel about that book. But first, we need to go on a rant because I need to let off some steam because I'm angry. Can you imagine having I'm getting all heated up already. I need to deep breath. So there I was on this great day, going to get my snow tires put on. Now, I had to go ahead and purchase 2 new snow tires because I didn't. 2 of them were a little worn down. So I had to buy 2 new snow tires and get 4 put on. That's the plan. Now, from my experience with automotive locations, you have 2 options. Make an appointment or show up day of and tell them you need it back by a certain time and they'll figure it out, right? That's always been my experience. For as long as I've been living and needed repairs to my car, that has always been the experience. You either make an appointment or you show up day of in the morning and ask if they can get it to you by 2 o'clock. And it always works out, right? It always works out. So I decided to go the appointment route this time. Now, normally what we do is I would drop my car off and, just tell them, hey, I need it back by 2. Can you get it done? And then someone would drive me home so I'm not sitting there all day, right? As my dad put it, I'm not burning a day. Well, I decided I'm just going to get an appointment. It's going to take like an hour. I'll wait there for an hour and we'll get it all situated, right? No, because if you think something's going to go as planned, it's not. It isn't. Nothing ever goes as planned. And living in this generation, no one gives a fuck about your time. No, not a single person cares about your time. This idiot, oh my God. He said, we're really packed right. Gotta give him a little toot. So, this guy, right? I have a 10 o'clock appointment. He says it might be 2 to 2.5 hours if you're going to leave or if you want to stick around. Like, bro, if I have a 10 o'clock appointment, that means have one of those lifts open for me. I showed up at 9:45. I gave it 15 minutes, right? 9:45 so I could get paperwork done and then they could have my car in there by 10 o'clock. No. That is the furthest thing that happened. That's furthest from the truth of what actually happened. What actually went down was I was told 2 2.5 hours. Okay, cool, fine, whatever. I'm not going to bother anybody to come pick me up. I just want to... I had plans of going to Barnes & Noble because I wanted to get a book, which they didn't have, by the way. So I settled for a different one. So expect a review of that one later. I'll discuss that more because we're on a rant right now. We're not talking about the books I'm reading. So I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. 2.5 hours, 2 hours, I can kill that. I go walk over to the bookstore, which is half mile away. That's going to kill 40 minutes, which it actually did. It was 40 minutes. I found a location that I wanted to eat at, but they didn't open till 11 o'clock. So I'm like, okay, I'll go back and I'll start reading this book for a little bit. I'll go get lunch, and by the time I'm done with lunch, everything will be great, right? No, that's not how that works. So I get my book, I go back there, I read for 20 minutes, and then I'm like, it's 11:08 now. I need food. So I find this location, which I'm just going to straight up tell you, it's absolutely phenomenal location. It's got, it's called Zupa's Cafe, or Zupa Cafe, something like that, right? Their pitch, soup, salads, and sandwiches. That's amazing. There used to be this this cafe that has since closed. I have their card in my wallet, but I'm driving, so I can't look at it. They had a soup, salad, and pie combo, or soup, sandwich, and pie. That was their combo. This place is soup, salad, and sandwiches, which is great. Absolutely love the idea. Absolutely phenomenal, right? So I'm going to get that. So I go over there at 11:08. I leave the car dealership. I'm like, my car's still sitting here. They haven't fucking touched it, and it's been an hour and 8 minutes. Thanks, bro. Thank you. God, that just irritates me. So I go get lunch, right? Absolutely phenomenal. So I got the berry lover crunch salad, something like that. I'm going to go back there and I'm going to get it again, and I'll let you guys know what it's actually called. I actually want to it's only me and mom home this weekend, so I want to take her out for lunch, so I'm going to bring her there because it's absolutely delicious. Oh my God. So I got a what's it called? God dang it, what's it called? It was a try two combo is what they call it. So you could have half a sandwich, half order of a salad, half order of a soup, and you get two of those. So I opted for it was freezing balls out. It was like 20 degrees and I didn't have a coat. So I got, I got chicken noodle soup. Sounded delicious. I'm not one to really experiment with different kinds of soup. This person next to me is eating a pen. They're eating a pen. What a time to be alive. Anywho, chicken noodle. I'm not one to go experiment with like broccoli, zucchini, hot radish soup or whatever the heck it was. I don't know. They have like 8 different choices of everything. The sandwiches looked great, but I really just wanted some soup. I felt it would warm me up. I will say the soup wasn't as hot as I like it. I like it when soup will actually like burn your mouth, and I didn't get that out of it. But that's all right. That's all right. Regardless, the chicken noodle soup was pretty good. So you get a half order of soup. I must say a full order of soup would probably, it might be worth it. I think you can get a full order for $6.69 is their pricing on. So fulls are $6.69, halves are $3.59 or something. Speed up, buddy. Merge. All right, beautiful. So I had chicken noodle soup. I'd probably give it a solid, like, I'd probably a 7 out of 10. I felt like perhaps it could have had a little more seasoning in it of sort. I did add pepper to it. I'm just kind of trying to think what kind of seasoning might add to it. I like red pepper flakes. Red pepper flakes in it would probably be good. The police, hey buddy, you got pulled over. So that's what I opted for. That 7 out of 10 on the soup. And the salad now, the berry lover cruncher. That's what I'm calling the berry lover. It's not even what it's called. I don't know what it's called. It's something like that. Anyways, it's salad. Some kind of a green. I believe it was salad. Like, I've been eating a kale and spinach salad. I believe this was actually like lettuce. Yeah, some kind of a lettuce. Not the kind of lettuce I buy at the store, but some kind of a lettuce. So they have that kind of a lettuce, and then they have, like, I believe it was almonds, cinnamon. I believe they were cinnamon roasted almond nuts. That's what they put on it. Cinnamon, that sounds right. They had some delicious oil poppy seed sauce. Absolutely fantastic. That was delicious. It really seasoned everything up. And then they dumped a mixture of berries. There was blackberries, blueberries, and strawberries. And I thought, for being a half salad, that was pretty decent. That was a pretty decent sized salad for being half. That's the kind of salad I would expect to be a full order. So when I go back there, I'm thinking what I'll do is I'll have my mom get a try two combo. So then we'll get like we'll buy a full salad, and we'll get a half salad as well, and then maybe a full sandwich. So then we can divvy that up, so that way we're getting 3/4 of a salad and we're each getting half a sandwich. Ultimately, that's the whole goal. I must say, absolutely fantastic though. The salad was delicious. I'm absolutely obsessed. And for a price of $10.70, I really don't think you can beat that at a lot of places. For the kind of meal that you got, it was both halfway decently nutritious and delicious, and just that kind of food. You know, you go to McDonald's and order $10 of food, and it's not as filling as this was. So I highly recommend this place. It's not a sales pitch. I'm a non-monetized podcaster. I'm not sponsored by anybody, so it's just my true feelings about how delicious it was. And I know one of the biggest, oh my God, we're going to go on a rant here. So I know one of the biggest complaints I see a lot when people are complaining about podcasts online is people just want you to get to the main topic and not sit there and talk about your life. Well, guess what? This is my podcast. I talk about my life. I use terrible mics. It's my decision, not yours. If you got a problem with it, fast forward a little bit and check out the book review. But right now, it is my time to talk and rant. So I get done with this meal, feeling great. I'm like, oh great, my car might be halfway done by now. No, I get back in the car, it's still not even worked on. It's 11:40 at this point, and my car has not been touched. I'm just gonna, I tried not to be mad because I had a book. I wanted to read the book. Regardless, my car ended up being done at 1:40. I had a 10 o'clock appointment, and my car didn't get done until 1:40. All they had to do was swap the tires out. I don't see what the big issue was. It's unreal. And then this one lady comes in and she starts throwing a tantrum. I have an 11 o'clock appointment. I'm never coming to you guys again. I'm giving you guys 2 hours, and then I'm never coming here again. And the guy just goes, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. Like, he's just being all calm. Like, I understood they were absolutely swamped for business, but come on, bro. I have a 10 o'clock appointment. You got to at least call or say something. Hey, I know you got a 10 o'clocker. We're a little swamped right now. How about we stick you in at 1 o'clock and we'll get you in right away. Something like that. That's all it takes. Just a little bit of communication. But no, they don't give a fuck about your time. Not one single fuck. They're like, 10 o'clock, yeah, bro, be done, yeah. No, you're an idiot. I shouldn't have been there that long. I got home, my dad's like, I wouldn't have put up with that crap. You should have just left. I'm like, yeah, I should have, but I didn't think it would take so freaking long. I just wanted my soup, my salad, not a sandwich, but my soup and my salad. That's what I wanted. And, oh, Jesus Christ, learn to merge. Why are you stopping? Oh my God. You people. Just so irritating, man. I'm not having a good day at all. I hope work's good. All right, let's get to this book review. So, my original plan for this was I was going to make another, I had a podcast called Journey to the Bookstore, and I was actually going to make another about me returning to the bookstore, and then on my way to the bookstore, I give a review of the book that I just finished, and then I give an intro to the book I just started. But that all went out the door when I decided that I don't know what book I want, because Barnes & Noble doesn't sell Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. That's the book I wanted. Did I get it? No. But that's okay. That's all right, because I did some searching. I don't think I can read fiction. I really don't. Fiction is just it's not real, so it doesn't interest me. Science, like science fiction and fantasy fiction, just fiction in general, I'm not a big fan of it. They didn't seem to have very many, U.S. history, that didn't interest me. There was a book on Hitler I considered picking up, just because he's an interesting human being, a douchebag, but an interesting human being. And I've watched a couple documentaries on the man. There wasn't a whole lot of interesting people. I don't know too many people. There was a lot of president biographies, autobiographies, whatever. Just nothing came across as interesting to me. I did, however, something that does very much interest me is religion. Not necessarily one specific religion, just the idea of people following religion. It's very interesting to me. I've watched a lot of documentaries, and so I went to the religious section. And while I expected a bunch of things like Bibles, Korans, and, I expected the Watchtower, all those, the Watchtower is, for those of you that are unfamiliar with religion, the Watchtower is the book of the Jehovah's Witness. I expected a whole bunch of those books, and there was a lot of different of those books. And then it struck me. I found a book, it was at the bottom, and it said Megan Phelps Roper. I'm like, yup, I know Megan Phelps Roper. I actually talked about her in another podcast. It's another one where I said, hey, she has a book, and she was on a podcast, and I absolutely loved her, and I didn't know what I didn't know certain names of certain things, and it irritated some certain listeners out there, but we're getting over that. So I see Megan Phelps Roper's book, and I'm like, you know what? I never read it, and it actually really interests me. So I'm going to get it. So it's called Unfollow. So that's going to be the book after, or that's going to be the next book review. Unfollow by Megan Phelps Roper. It's pretty much about how she left the Westboro Baptist Church. For those of you that don't know who the Westboro Baptist Church is, you should probably do some Googling, because I guess they're not too broadcasted in the media today, so it's not as relevant. And since Fred Phelps died, I don't think the church has been the same. I can't say who runs it. I believe Shirley is still with them. Anywho, I'm going to read all about that in this book, I'm sure. Anyways, we're going to get to Permanent Record. We're going to give a little 5-minute review on Permanent Record. So Permanent Record is a memoir by Edward Snowden. This book came to my attention after he was on the Joe Rogan Experience, a lovely podcast, I must say. And it really interested me. For those of you that are unfamiliar with who Edward Snowden is, he's a former NSA CIA agent, or CIA. He worked for the NSA CIA. Well, okay. So he technically worked for them, but he was actually a contractor. If I'm unable to answer the question who Edward Snowden is, did I really read the book when I just read a memoir about his life? No, I can answer it. So, essentially, he former NSA, CIA contractor that leaked a bunch of documents to the media in regards to how the U.S. government is mass surveilling on a global level, not just a United States level, a global level. So the book goes through quite a lot of detail from his childhood. I felt I could relate to his childhood in a sense. See, he grew up right as the start of computers coming around. You know, he recalls a memory of his dad bringing home the first computer or his first video game, and it all very much intrigued him. And I kind of related to him in the sense that they'd have to take turns on the computer. You know, he'd be sitting there, he'd be gaming or doing some reading, and he'd have his time on the computer, and then it was the next person's time. He'd stay up late hours into the night on the computer. And it's just, I felt very relatable to the guy in that sense. From a very young age, he actually started doing some high-level programming, I'd say, and security breaching. He warned, I don't remember the specific group, but he warned some top agency of a vulnerability they had when he was a very young guy. And it talked a lot about the anonymity, like the anonymousness of the internet back then. Anonymity. I can't say it, and I'm not even going to try to say it again. But being anonymous on the internet back then, it was a lot easy. And essentially this book takes you through his career, how he was raised in a family of government employees with clearances that they could never talk about their work with him because they had to keep silent about it. It just walks you through his life and how he became intrigued, how he joined the Navy, I believe he joined the Navy, how he was honorably discharged, and how he came to work for the contractor. It revealed some things about the government that I personally didn't know, and I feel like a lot of people might not know. He went very much into detail about how the government gets around their employee limit. So they're only allowed a certain number of employees, but they like to use contractors because then it doesn't count as a employee. So that's how he came into play. He was a contractor. And pretty much it takes him through how he started getting curious. Yeah, no spoilers. He started getting curious about the things the government could do. He was getting... and what ultimately led to him getting more and more curious and finding out information that he felt was not public information, and he felt that he was obligated to be a whistleblower and just come out and say, hey, the government's doing this. You guys are unaware of it. He talked about one program that was pretty much you could search a name, an address, a telephone number, and it'd come up with everything as far as like latest internet searches. It'd come up with, in some cases, he said it could resemble your exact desktop while you're making those searches, like a replay of your desktop. Essentially, he just lays down a lot of information about how the government's spying on us, and a lot of people don't have a clue. It was part about his, it was fully about his life, but part of it was also a love story. Not just his journey to leaking the information, making it publicly known. I shouldn't use the word leak, because in the book he specifically says it was not leaked. Leak would be unintentionally giving something away. He did not unintentionally do it. He did it with the full intention of the American people in mind. And, I think a lot of Americans need to thank him for that. I think, some people look at him as a traitor. He's being tried under the Espionage Act. If he were to come back in the U.S., he'd be tried under the Espionage Act, which would not allow him a fair trial. Some people look at him as a traitor. I do not see him as a traitor. He did exactly what... There was laws to protect whistleblowers, and I feel like those laws have let him down. I don't believe he had America's best interest at hand. And he gave away his life for that. He gave away a life with his girl, too. It talks a lot about his girl. There's actually one chapter from his girl's diary. I found that chapter very interesting. It goes into how once he gave this information away, obviously she's going to be questioned. And he couldn't tell her because she would be charged with conspiracy. So she had to be left completely in the dark. And he left one day. And it was to give the information away. And he knew as soon as he did that, he might never see her again. And essentially it ends with a very great love story about how she showed up on his doorstep, gave him a kiss, and they ended up getting married. He ends the book with thanking people and just telling you, hey, this book has some interesting stuff in it. If you Googled it, you probably just made a list. You're being watched. It's a very good read. It is only available in hardcover, so you do gotta fork over some money if you wanna read it. Hardcovers are not cheap. Overall, given the fact that I'm not really a reader, I would say this book was probably a 9 out of 10. It actually kept me very interested. He didn't use a whole lot of big words. I'd say one of the biggest downfalls was just there's a lot of acronyms when it comes to government, and a lot of times they'd only mention them once. Midway through the book, I forgot what IC meant. Intelligence community is what it meant. And I know he had stated that at some point. It slipped my mind. So I feel like there was a lot of acronyms like ACLU, FISC, I was making a maneuver there that was a little risky. Just a lot of acronyms, and felt like sometimes they should have been mentioned a little more in their non-acronym form. Maybe I just need to pay better attention. One of the two, but I'd say 9 out of 10. I would 100% recommend this book. I felt it was very good, had lots of great information in it, and I think a lot of people could benefit from looking at the government in this way that he does. I will go ahead and say that I did purchase this new book called Unfollow. It's about how Megan Phelps leaves the Westboro Baptist Church. I'm really excited to read that. So I'm for sure going to be, hitting another book review. For the first time, I don't think I stopped somewhere, and I just went straight to work. It's been a while since I've done that. So I went straight to work, and I'm actually here. So ladies and gentlemen, that's about all I have to really say about that book. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know talking to myself has really helped me, though. I was in a bad mood when I left just because of my whole tire experience, but this always does good for me, making a good old podcast. I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed my book review, as well as my little rant about how people don't respect time these days. I'm over it. I'm over it. It's in the past. We got to move forward now. Thank you guys very much. Make sure you go follow me on Twitter. God dang it, in the last episode I said I was going to start plugging Twitter at the beginning of episodes so that people that don't stick around for the whole thing would still find my Twitter. Anyways, Twitter at Thoughts by Randy. We got a Reddit over at Driving with Randy. Thank you guys very much. Go leave a review on iTunes. I appreciate you guys' presence very much. Peace.